Take a look at Devin Booker's last two games. 44 points on Monday, followed by 51 points last night.
Every year he forces his way into the conversation of should we be talking about him for most valuable player?
Something tells me we've seen this movie before. Is it just me, or has this happened already?
I had him as one of my top 5 league MVP candidates this year.
So what makes us think that this movie's gonna end differently?
It's just a load to try to block out and rebound.
Booker goes. Boom.
Now here's the beautiful part about Devin Booker. And I encourage a lot of young kids to pick this part up. As hot as he is right now, do you see any overly celebration? Do you see him like celebrating? You see him mocking the crowd? You see him going at the crowd, pumping his chest? Nothing. Stay balanced in your game. That dude there gets it.
By the time this video gets published, he'll probably be playing very well against the Spurs. I mean, it's the Spurs after all. But guys, we've seen this already. We've seen him have a dominant season last season. But there are some things that are a bit different. We'll get into this when we talk about Devin Booker.
Booker draws a light double team, working on Kobe White. Deep three on the way.
Oh, man.
Yes, indeed. Levine, no. Booker with the steal. And Booker brings the boom. The point center, Nikola Jokic. Booker steps in, picks his pocket, racing to the rack.
One key difference here, and this is a big one. Devin Booker scoring 50 points in 3 quarters. Yeah, that's hard to believe. But he did this when Chris Paul wasn't even playing. This is his 11th straight game he missed.
I had him as one of my top 5 league MVP candidates this year.
And I remember very vividly when he played the Nuggets, Chris Paul returning from an injury. He scored 49 points in that same game. This time he scores 51 without Chris Paul. He does it in 3 quarters with all-time efficiency, shooting 80%.
Booker scored his 11,000th point. He is the 4th youngest player to do so, only behind LeBron, KD, and Kobe. It's the 6th time Booker has scored 90 points or more in a 2-game span, and no one else in Suns history has done that even once.
You want to know any other mind-boggling stats here? Okay, Booker, with the last 3 games averaging over 40 points a game, shooting it over 66%. I mean, that's the only player beside Will Chamberlain to ever do that over a 3-game span.
Devin, 20 to 25 from the field.
Following KD, man. 5 misses.
And by the way, that's not to mention that guys like Cam Johnson haven't played. I mean, Jay Crowder, if you think that's important to mention, he hasn't played as well. I mean, guys, this is one of the best teams in the league, and they don't even have their full roster healthy already. Number 1 in the West. This has to be talked about more, right? They're not getting enough respect as is.
Inbound to Booker. Green on his hip. Backing him down. Turn to the baseline. And Book. No need to say anything about that. He'll just let the end result speak for itself.
But I'm sure, like me, you've heard this before. You've heard the same narratives before. You've heard this same very words before, okay? We've all heard this. Devin Booker should be in the conversation for MVP? I've said this exact same thing last season.
He pulls up for 3 here, and then take a listen to the crowd.
Say it louder. Say it louder. Say it louder.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Booker.
And now Devin Booker. We just heard the MVP chants book in Denver.
I've been watching him do all of his sprints, so, it's good to have him back, right in time to get ready for, what we're going to go after.
Obviously, this is not like Booker when he scored 70 points. Not at all. The perception back then was that it was empty stats. The perception today when he scores 51 in 3 quarters is that he is in the conversation for MVP because his team is much better. He is much better. He's a much more complete player, and obviously that goes a long way for Booker.
Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker call it quits. E! News can confirm that the couple has split after 2 years of dating.
Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker have split just months after rekindling their romance.
Oh yeah, this happened too. They recently apparently broke up again. Yeah, this is great news for Booker. This is great news for Suns fans everywhere, because now that means that the curse has been lifted. Okay, never mind. This is crazy. It doesn't matter how beautiful his stat lines are, okay? Devin Booker can have the best looking, the cleanest looking shots, the sexiest looking face, and the most beautiful, just godly beautiful field goal percentages. The shooting splits are just amazing. It won't matter. You know why, Suns fans? Because Suns fans, I'll just let you know right now, you guys are always going to be cursed by the Kardashians as long as these two are still Suns. I mean, it doesn't matter if Chris Paul leaves. Devin Booker is still going to potentially get back together with Kendall. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. You're never going to escape it.
Take a look at this year's MVP favorites. According to Caesars Sportsbook, Embiid and Jokic have been at the top of the race for quite some time. But one name that hasn't gotten much buzz, Booker, who's currently 8th in the race.
There's an updated list?
Here. There's an updated list. Jason Tatum 1 for MVP betting favorite. Luka Doncic 2. Giannis Antetokounmpo 3.
I mean, you could see here Devin Booker getting some MVP buzz. He's tied 6th in terms of betting odds with Kevin Durant. That means a lot of people are betting on Devin Booker winning MVP. And I can't lie to you, his numbers has increased. I mean, just looking at his averages over the last couple of games, he's averaging 3 more points this season than last season, 1 more assist than last season, a true shooting percentage of 60%, an increase of 3 percentage points than last season.
So Devin Booker is tied for 6th in the MVP odds with Kevin Durant. Why doesn't he get enough MVP love?
Why do you think Booker's not getting as much MVP love?
ESPN knew what they were doing when they put this video up with the title thumbnail combination they did. I mean, the video isn't even that bad, honestly. Like, you listen to it and you're like, okay, they clickbaited me. But at the same time, they are hinting at something that I'm trying to point out in this same video. Look, he can have the best numbers. He can have the most beautiful looking shot. He can have the best looking face in the NBA. It doesn't matter. He can do all these things in the regular season, mind you. And you'll have people like Kendrick Perkins coming here and just giving you all the flowers that you deserve, right? And they'll say things that are just quite honestly preposterous, outrageous, ridiculous.
Which star would you rather have, Luka or Booker?
Oh, with all due respect, I'm taking Luka Doncic all day long. When we talk about a brother that could possibly beat the face of the NBA.
Would you rather have Devin Booker or Luka Doncic?
I mean, right now, Devin Booker went to the finals. Devin Booker went to the finals.
Can we just call him Dumbo Perk from now on? Because he has to be the stupidest analyst on ESPN. Because we all know what happened in those finals that Devin Booker was in. We all knew how it ended for Devin Booker and Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. And we all know what happened this season and in the playoffs in 2022 that ended their Phoenix Suns season. Him scoring 70 points. I mean, you had people clowning him for that. We're past that now. We're at the point where Devin Booker needs to show up in the playoffs. That's always been the problem with him now. And championship teams, they're always going to put that on him every time they face him. Look at Klay Thompson. Look at how he faced him.
See, Candace, this is what I like to see. 2 guards going at it, talking junk to one another.
And I know Klay Thompson didn't have a good game, but he was still jawing back and forth with Devin Booker. And, oh boy, he was getting feisty out there.
And look at Booker and look at Klay Thompson are continuing to go at one another. I'm here for it, people. I am here for it, Miss Parker.
And Klay, I mean, he didn't care. He let his feelings out because he knows.
Klay Thompson has been ejected from this ball game. We talked about him and Devin Booker getting into it. This was the double technical between the two.
He knows what the name of the game is. It's to get rings. Devin Booker knows this too. That's why Klay is doing this.
It looks like he has a few choice words for Phoenix's bench.
And so when you see Klay Thompson, I mean, he's just being an outright jerk. I agree. But he is right to talk trash because he's got 4 rings and Booker's got none. 0. And because of that, Suns fans, you have to understand people are not going to care when Booker scores 51 points in 3 quarters. In the games where his team needs him the most, he's been a total ghost. The game where Giannis scored 50 points, he had 19 points and he was 0 of 7 from the 3-point line. And in the game where Doncic had as many points as the Suns in the first half, in Game 7, Devin Booker had 11 points, 0 of 4 from the 3-point line.
think we're letting Devin Booker off the hook, though, because we're just focusing on Chris Paul here. I have numbers here. He's 0 for 11 from three-point the last 2 games when the Suns were facing elimination. What does that say to you?
What has he done before?
That loss against Dallas, especially, is going to haunt not just Devin Booker, but the entire Suns roster. And I think people are still getting into this whole, oh, he's playing so good right now. Oh, they could change things now. Oh, they can win it all now. We've seen the same script being written out. And as much as I like seeing Booker score 50 and just the ways he scores, he's such a great shooter and he's a beautiful marksman. No, this is a script I'm not going to buy into again. I bought into it the first time, and the second time, no, I am done, okay?
Devin Booker does not realize the damage that this loss has done. When you look at him, you're going to look at him differently now. Because a game 7 with everything on the line, everybody know you got to show up.
And Devin Booker just hasn't shown up in both elimination games he was in, okay? Game clinchers, I'll give you that. He did play well when he has a chance to clinch a series. But you and I both know that's front-runner stuff right there. That's front-runner behavior. Guys are going to play well and talk their talk when they're up. But when they're down, it's all quiet. It's all ghost town for them, right? They disappear. It's a Houdini act, but instead, it's not impressive. We're not laughing with you. We're actually laughing at you. We're looking at you as a clown, not as the magician, okay? Because you're sad.
Stephen A., this is the second time he's done this in an elimination game, so what does it say to you now?
What it says to me is that he's not what we thought he was.
Like it or dislike it, I do not care at this point. Devin Booker has shown us his resume in the playoffs. As great as they are when he's up, they're terrible when he's down. When he's down, when he has a challenge in front of him, he crumbles, collapses. I'd say even chokes. Okay, that's how bad it is. And I'm sorry if that's something that makes you sad, because it's reality.
So the question is going forward about Devin Booker. What will we talk about him going forward? Can he get there?
My response is yes. But
will he learn?
Until he gets there,
no
this is where he is.
no doubt. Which is the same reason we're going to have.
What does there mean?
Get there is winning a game like last night.
No, because he won't be in that position again.
I would love to be proven wrong, but I think the Suns' run is over. We're not going to see them at their peak anymore. The playoffs, we're probably going to see them play the Warriors in the first round and get eliminated. Let's be honest. It's that type of season in the Western Conference. It'll be very interesting seeing how the standings shape out in April, because I know for a fact there's going to be some major upsets in the first round. Oh boy.